Ready? Ready. Three, two, and one. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Red Thoughts with Perry Picasso. I'm your host, Perry Picasso, and today I'm joined by a very lovely guest.
Larios, Faustino Larios.
Woo! Hello. Welcome to the podcast. Faustino has an amazing artwork right now shown at the museum, and it's titled
Raza de Oro.
Raza de Oro. It's a beautiful piece. It is on exhibition right now for the Desde los Cielos group show, created by Emmanuel Camacho Larios and myself at the Cheech Museum until March 16. It might be still up when this goes up. We'll see. Um, but yeah, you have a beautiful work in there, and I would love to hear more. But before we do, I want to get to know you a little more. Like, tell us a little more about you, your artistic journey. Because I remember when we were having at the event, you came up to me and you were like, "Oh, I don't feel like an artist," and I got really mad at you. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Don't you dare let anybody tell you." So yeah, tell me about your artistic journey.
Well, beforehand, just thankful. I'm thankful for your the opportunity to have been able to display this art piece at the museum. For what you and Emmanuel have done.
Oh,
I'm
the
really,
mic a little
really,
closer.
really thankful for that. I appreciate
Yeah,
you
of
guys.
course, anytime.
Yeah. As far as like you said, I've never really felt like an artist.
Okay.
Definitely, you always I have the desire to since I was a kid to create, to make things and like kind of like my way of finding peace is just getting all the creativity out of your mind and soul and just putting it out. It's like where I find my peace, where it makes me feel grounded. But as far as art, I think just always as a kid, I kind of grew up with my dad doing auto body and paint.
Okay.
This is like my early childhood memories is just always working with my dad, sanding cars, cleaning up, and then eventually he started teaching me how to sand, prep work, taught me how to start painting, doing body work and all that stuff. Also metal fabrication and welding.
Wow.
And, you have those influences from like older cousins that are, you see as artists too, spending the summers drawing with them and all that. But, it's always been kind of like something in you
Mm-hmm.
that's like a necessity almost to like want to create and make
Yeah.
things. And but yeah, I've just dabbled in all sorts of stuff. Just kind of like, something jumps in my mind or something. I find something interesting, whether it's leather work, woodworking, uh, just regular graphite pencil, drawing with pen and ink. I just do it. Tattooing, just dabbled in everything.
Oh wow. Okay.
So just try different mediums.
Yeah.
I feel like there's nothing that says you got to stick to one. There's not one straight path.
Mm-hmm.
If there's something you want to do, just whatever your heart desires, try it
Yeah.
at the minimum. You get it out of your head, you try it, and you have some new skills under your belt.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess with this piece is what I want to do, just kind of add a little bit of, put everything together, all the different mediums that I've worked with and that I've learned along the line, and put it all together.
That's cool.
Everything from woodworking, leather work, a little bit of airbrushing, the automotive, like custom, like lowrider paint jobs. You got
Mm-hmm.
some metal flake stuff in there. So yeah, just
Wow. Okay. So then you said you grew up doing a lot of like automotive paint and stuff like that.
yes.
So then I'm guessing did you do a lot of like pinstripe cars and things of that
I
nature or
dabbled into it.
okay.
Kind of growing up, I was kind of poor.
Okay.
So couldn't really get an airbrush or like
Got
pinstriping.
it.
So,
Okay.
just kind of watching older guys that would come into the shop pinstriping. It's like, damn, that's like how they keep that steady line. It's just I was always in awe on how they made it look easy. Kind of dabbled in it
Mm-hmm.
as a kid. Then eventually, you get older, you're able to, you start working, you're making your money, and you're able to buy yourself the tools that you
Right.
need to explore these different art ideas and stuff. So, I've dabbled in it, taking classes and stuff like that. But I don't really consider myself to be like what can I say? Like a pro pinstripe or a custom
Okay.
painter. So
But you've dabbled in it.
dabbled in it and
Okay.
just kind of feed my soul pretty much.
I've always been so curious about how they do the automotive paints, especially the like glittery ones.
Okay.
Like, how is, I don't know if you want to share any of that process, but like, how is the process sort of, yeah, doing stuff like that? Because somebody was telling me one time that when to get that, they have to like do multiple layers and then keep buffing it in between. It's not just like a one paint job and you're done. It's like layers upon layers.
Yeah, there's different layers and there's a lot of steps.
Okay.
I've got to have a solid foundation. You start with your body work, your prep work. Like a good paint job, it's like I want to say maybe 80-90% it's prep work.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna do a lot of sanding to
Mm.
get that high gloss, nice flat finish.
Okay. Because
But
if
yeah, it
it's
is
not
definitely
smooth,
layers. You know, you start off with your body work, make sure it's all flat,
okay.
primer, surface, seal. Kind of like when you're prepping a canvas. You know, I kind
I'm.
of like to relate things to kind of similar to different
Hmm.
stuff. You know, you're gonna build your canvas, so it, seal, get it ready for your paint.
Okay.
Same process in the automotive, that custom paint.
But I feel like it's a little more extreme because with canvas and painting, like if there, it doesn't have to be super super smooth. If there's like little bumps or something, like at least for my personal experience, like I'm okay with there showing texture. But I would imagine with a car when you're painting, it has to be like absolutely the smoothest possible.
Yeah, that attention to detail. It's the
Yeah.
big one, you know. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of sanding, a lot of layers, dry times. You know, gotta
Mm,
let each layer dry properly. You know,
okay.
yeah, it's a quite a process. You know, gotta be patient with it. And, you know,
Okay.
every step, give every step. It's time. Like we can go really in depth with it, but if you like, you can come over one day and I can,
I would
you know,
love
show you the
to.
basics,
I
get
think
some panels
that's
prepped, and I think the best way to learn is just kind of physically
like
go through the
seeing.
steps and
Okay.
how to spray down the flake, how to seal it, how many coats it takes of clear to seal it, and then on top of that, you can put graphics or shoot candy. So there's different avenues that you can take when it
Hmm.
comes to custom paint. There's no really, as far as the graphics and colors, it's pretty much it's an open canvas. You know,
Okay.
whatever colors and designs and
Hmm.
patterns and techniques that you can go with.
Have you ever experimented with like that medium to do anything else? Like has anybody come up to you with a car and been like, I trust you. Do whatever you want to do?
You know what? Not yet. Haven't had the opportunity to do a whole
Okay.
car.
No yet.
I would love to,
Okay.
but I also know that it's gonna be quite quite the journey and
Okay.
work. So you definitely to take on a job like that, you gotta definitely be committed and dedicated to see it through from start to finish. You know, because it's not just oh we're gonna scuff it and shoot. It's like you know a panel. It's a lot of hours of work.
Yeah. Okay.
But I would love to. You know, right now I'm just doing panels. I like to do something like where
What's a
you know not
panel?
just art panels, kind of like what we did for
Okay,
the
okay, like an
exam.
actual
You
like
know,
a
like on
panel.
a
Okay, okay.
canvas, like an actual metal panel, something that people can have at home.
Okay.
You know, because that'll be nice. Not everybody can afford like
A car.
a car full paint job like
Got
that.
it.
But you
Okay.
know, it's beautiful artwork. You know, somebody do some artwork where people can have at home.
Mhm.
You know,
Okay.
so
How did that come about? To why did like to make panels as opposed to I don't know, like when did that process start for you? Does that make sense? Like when did you start doing panel works?
I think I've always done it. Just kind of like
Okay.
it's to me like as far as shifting from panels, kind of like you know you have your notebook, your sketch pad.
Mhm.
I was like, well, let me do panels because that kind of work you can't really do it on a regular paper. So you need to
Okay.
have some metal panels to work on, and then you know I hadn't really thought of that.
Like was it did
I
you
think
st
it comes down to affordability and space.
Okay.
You know, not really having a big workspace to do big projects like full cars or you know, like the workspace and
Mhm.
then the honestly the money because it's expensive. The automotive paint flakes, it's
Yeah.
expensive, and then even
And the
nowadays,
material,
like oh my god,
the what's it called, the equipment, all of the you were saying the airbrush, and I would imagine also the sanding. You have to keep replacing a lot of bits.
yeah. So it's taking time, you know.
Okay.
So I haven't really. I think I'm finally getting closer to a point where I can, you know, I'm gonna start working on my shop, getting it squared away. But yeah, it's been quite the process on any job. It's kind of been just okay, whatever profits, just to buy more material, more
Yeah.
tools. So I'm kind of getting closer to there.
Okay.
And then, you know, but on top of that, you know, I also got the kids, so it's kind of a balance of everything.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Hmm. I guess when I was just, I'm curious still to hear more about these panels because to me, what I was wondering like was, did you start doing them as like this was your sort of way to practice before you did it on a car, or was this as you were painting cars and doing automotive, were you like I needed a way to express myself, and so then you found the panels?
yeah, you know, it's a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Kind of the panels is just like a different canvas, but yeah, it's just a way to express yourself.
Okay.
And then yeah, too, it's good to as references too for colors and all that
Okay.
stuff. But as far as like the stuff that I've done for me is just, you know, you get those ideas and you got to get them out. And that's just my way to put them on the canvas as a reference and like you said to express myself, the
Mhm.
ideas that I have in my mind to get out to see how it's gonna look, you know.
Mhm.
Because you know, once you have something in the head, and then like once you have it out, it's like okay, I can fix this, do that, and that. Um, but I think it's mainly just a different medium
Okay.
and a form to express myself, get my ideas out. You know, I've always loved that style, the lowrider style panels.
Yeah.
It's always been like since I was a kid, just like man, just the work that goes into it's just a work of art to me. But I love everything else too.
Okay.
Um,
That's pretty
Pretty
cool.
open to art. I like to mix match, bring some of this stuff from over here, put it together with that. Kind of like the panel itself, the Raza de Oro. Kind of just brought, put some leather work on there with the
Mm-hmm.
lowrider backdrop, and then the two red panels that are on the side. That comes from I learned that in the guitar industry. I
Hmm.
work as a painter for a guitar shop, and it's actual wood, and that's a whole process of its own too.
Oh wow. I'm curious now to hear like what are the other things that you're able to do and how are they all similar and different? 'Cause to do guitar and car and like woodworking, like all of these are just completely different industries. How do you how does that all come about?
Man, I don't know. We made it work.
Okay.
This art piece actually, this art piece specifically, it's like I've always wanted to put everything that I've learned
Made
throughout the
uh-huh.
years together in one piece.
Okay.
And then the art piece itself, it's actually had that in my head for like years. So it's kind of
Okay.
a relief to be able to get it out and do it. That art
Hmm.
piece itself. But I don't know. It's just
Like when did you learn to do leather work?
leather work. It's like, ooh. I always reference it to when my kids were born. So my son wasn't even born yet. He's 13, about 14 years ago.
Okay.
I guess when I get curious about something, I like fully deep
Right, you
dive in
like
it,
go
and
into
I'm
it.
like in it, like learning from start to finish, in and out, all the fine details, and then I feel like it just stays with you.
Mhm.
You might not be like a master of it, but you at least have it covered to where you can do it.
Mhm.
And
Well,
I think it's kind of been like that with everything I've done.
okay.
Because I've gone to school for auto body too. I actually went to MI for guitar craft, guitar building,
Hmm.
the leather work. I would go weekend seminars. That's another thing. I like to continue growing and learning. Like what is it? 2, 3 weeks ago, I did an airbrush class. I
Okay.
don't know if you've seen. I did an airbrush class. So even
Mm.
though you kind of know some stuff, you're always gonna pick up something that'll
Yeah.
help you grow, continue growing and learning.
Mhm.
And then you meet a lot of cool people
Yeah,
that
no,
kind
for
of in the
sure.
same field that kind of inspire you. You kind of push each other, help each other grow, and you kind of share knowledge.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I think it's very important to always just keep learning even if you already feel like you know everything, like sometimes it's good to be refreshed.
yeah, kind of stay humble. It keeps you humble, and then
Mhm.
kind of keps you motivated too. That you're like working with like-minded people.
Mhm.
Like you say, you share knowledge and all that. Well, you're gonna run into a couple of people, egoístas,
Right.
that are like, yeah, but it's cool, you know.
Okay.
To each their own.
I'm so intrigued by the leather work, so I'm sorry to like keep going back to that, but
Yeah,
like
no, I'm kind of all over the place with
get
with the different mediums that I like to play with.
I know. So I'm like, I'm trying to like figure out like what is like when you were first doing each one of them, like como empezó, like what were you doing, like for the leather work, what were you creating at first? Was it like, yeah, like what were you making with leather?
Um, you know what? I went to the fair and
Okay.
estaba un viejito working on leather. But I was
Okay.
always curious because the cintos, the
Okay.
Mexican belts that have like the floral design. I was like, how
Mm-hmm.
the heck do they put this on there? And then I went to the fair, estaba un viejito working on it, and I was talking to him for hours. He was so humble and nice, just kind of explained the whole process to me.
Mm.
And
Okay.
I was like, okay, so let's do it. And then he told me about a store down in San Bernardino. And then we give weekend classes.
Oh,
And I was
really?
like, all right. So I would go like every Saturday and, just start with the basics and stuff like that. Because I
Mm.
always wondered, because I always, when I looked at the leather work, I was like, I would like to put this on a piece of leather. But I never knew how to do it. So then that's, through this gentleman that was nice enough to show me at least basic stuff and kind of open the doors right there and kind of just ran with it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool. So then you were started off doing like the cintos, I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
I've done some cintos,
Okay.
dog collars. But mainly, my main idea was kind of like the panel I do. I wanted to just put the artwork,
Okay.
just use it as a different medium to draw
Mm-hmm.
art, stamp it, and tool it leather.
Okay. Wow, that's pretty cool. How was there anything that you learned from the automotive? work that you were doing that you were able to transfer into the leatherworking?
Mm, I think a lot of it would be like the attention to detail,
Okay.
and then just like the prep work.
Okay.
You know, it's just I think that's where I'm able to transition from different skills is kind of learning like the process and it's kind of similar.
Hmm.
The you got to prep the leather work, you got a certain moisture, like different steps, to get to where you
Hmm.
have to go. And same with auto body, it's like a prep work. We'll go back
Mm-hmm.
to like I like to relate it with like your canvases.
Right.
You prep your canvas the same way. Once you figure out the steps, and then you just kind of run with those steps, and then you add your creativity to it.
Okay.
Whatever design you're gonna put on it. But it's kind of you lay down the foundation and then your artwork.
And then you just go from there.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm guessing it's a similar process with woodworking as well.
yeah,
Okay.
same thing. Same prep work. You sand it, prep the wood, you seal the wood, and then the color and whatever not.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's different techniques. Like if you want a more natural raw wood or whatnot. Like on the panels, that's a quilted maple, which it's a wood that's figured. So you
Oh.
stain it. So like the figured wood, it looks kind of like tiger stripes if
Mm-hmm.
you look closely on it. So it's soft and a hard grain. So the soft grain will absorb the stain a little more, and the hard one it'll stay light.
Okay.
So then, you know,
Hmm.
so with that being said, then you can sand it back. So there's gonna be dark and light spots wherever the grain took the stain,
Mm-hmm.
and then from there we just start the process of sealing the wood. You can add color if you want, and then top coating it, and color sand, buff it,
Hmm.
polish it.
Interesting. Okay. So there is a lot of similarities in
Yeah,
between a lot of
I think
these.
that's how I'm able to transition through different mediums, at
Mm-hmm.
least from what I do.
Okay.
Same with metalwork. You prep your metal, make sure it's clean, free of contaminants, and then so on and so forth. You're welding instead of stitching clothes, you're using the machine
Right. To
to weld.
piece it together.
Yeah.
What have you? Is there anything that? What was like the first thing you welded outside of automotive car parts, or did you start welding? Like I'm guessing that that's where you started welding, or no?
Yeah, as a kid, yeah, with my dad, and actually it was old school. It was the oxyacetylene.
What
I
is that?
remember oxyacetylene is with the torch.
Oh, oh, you're
Yeah,
doing
that's
with
how
the
my
torch.
yeah, and I give
Okay.
a lot of credit to my dad. I love the man. He was very patient with me to teach me things growing up. And yeah, the first welding was with the oxyacetylene. And I
Wow.
remember like sometimes he wouldn't have he would use like clothes hangers. Just
Okay.
put like some flux on it and then use a clothes hanger to, so
Hmm.
let's kind of adapt and overcome type situations.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of be resourceful with what you have, but yeah, it's kind of a lot of it was helping him. Agárrale aquí, soldale aquí,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. He would cut cars in half and put new pieces, frames, and all that stuff.
Wow.
So
That's pretty cool then. Okay. Did you ever get to weld anything like your own car or build your own
I would
from?
love to. I have an old '77 Malibu that I would like to get into eventually, but things are a little different once you have a family.
Yeah.
I love them a lot, but right now it's like my time is theirs.
Okay.
With the kids, I really enjoy the my time with the kids.
Have you been able to put them in like teach them all of these tools, or are they just like not interested?
Oh, and there was a time like
Okay.
was it a 2 3 years ago? I did a Cadillac, and they were a big part of helping me.
Okay.
Not a lot. I got a good friend as well that always comes through with those kind of projects that helps me out. But yeah, it's like something like you don't force them, but
Mm-hmm.
you kind of do.
Right. I'm not gonna force you,
But
but you are
you
gonna
can
be
kind of
here.
see when it comes to the kids, you kind of see they each have like their talents, what they're more drawn to.
Okay.
I think my little girl, she's more artistic, more hands-on, and it just comes. You can see it comes more natural to certain people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's one of them that she's just like you explain it to them, and they're on it. Like they just pick it up fast.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay. Is there anybody? I'm guessing because you're saying your father is very. Would you like what's it called? He was doing a lot of welding and automotives, and I would consider that an artist, or at least an artisan, somebody creative enough to be able to know how to. I don't know. Like you have to be a creative person to know like to cut shit up and then put it back together. You
yeah. I feel
know?
like all those what would you say trades,
Hmm.
hands-on, whatever, plumbing, woodworking. I think it's all art form.
Yeah.
I consider them to be like artists, craftsmen. Yeah, anything hands on is crap. Even actually, I don't know. We get
Yeah,
deep into it. Art comes in different forms, you know, even from the architect to the guy doing
exactly.
welding or painting a canvas. I think it's just creating,
Mm-hmm.
working with your hands. It's all an art form.
No, it really is. I know with welding especially, like you can tell who's like a really it's like somebody who like loves welding, like you can see it in the way that it's like welded together. Or I'm guessing it would be similar with like all of these different trades. Is like you can tell who's really about it and loves it because they put so much care and so much thought into every little detail.
Yeah, I don't know. It gets to a point like I don't know. I have the problem, not a problem, but the issue is like, damn, it's never good enough.
Hmm.
I was like, damn, maybe like we're our own worst critics.
Mm-hmm.
I was like my wife's like, that's good, like leave it alone. Like we did that Cadillac, my buddy and my wife's like, I was getting ready to strip that thing. I was like, what are you looking at? We tend to see, at least myself, I tend to see just the flaws, you know,
Right.
and that's where I'm kind of working on myself. Okay, we can strive for perfection and accept that I'm probably never gonna get there, but you know, we've come close.
Yeah.
But I'm learning not to be too hard on myself. You know,
It's definitely a challenge. I know that something that helped me was somebody saying something that art is not meant to be perfect. It's not a product. If it were to
uh,
be a product, if it were to be something of a commodity of a merchandise, then people are more inclined to find the flaws in it. But with art, it's a handmade, personable object. It's something that's meant to tell a story, explain something. And it's like, how are you going to say that a story is wrong? It's your story. And so all of these little, like, quote unquote, flaws are just sort of uh, minutiae, are just remnants of, how do we explain it? ¿Cómo se dice? It's like evidencia que un humano lo hizo,
right? That's good.
you know? And so I don't know. Whenever like I that helped me a lot because I used to be very much like it has to be perfect, and like to some extent, like I understand the sentiment of like no, like I know I could do better, but a un
Right,
momento, like once you get past that of like okay, you know what, this I think is fine. It tells what it gets the point across what I need to.
right.
Y ya después that I'm trying to be anymore, like that's just you being nitpicky, and being more
Right.
like. So I don't know.
Yeah, see,
Hopefully that
thank you. I
helps.
think I needed to hear that. And I've heard it. My wife's always telling me to.
You
But,
know.
you know, we got to learn to when enough is enough kind of thing, you know?
Mm-hmm. And like give yourself the artistic liberty to be like, no, like this is a conscious choice, or like I'm okay with this. Like this is proof that I did this. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
And I think that that may be something that's something that I feel like isn't quite awarded, or that we don't give ourselves permissions
Right.
to be that, like especially when you are somebody of like, you know, you're not white. Like, like you feel like you have to be siempre
Oh,
perfecto. Like you are not allowed to have any
tienes que
flaws.
andar al tiro siempre.
Mm-hmm. Tú ocupas que
Yeah, just kind
ser.
of remind me of like my time in the service. I talk about
Hmm.
that.
No.
Kind of you felt right now that you said
Hmm.
try not to be going to like race or whatnot, but you do feel that you gotta be like more harder
Mm-hmm.
than other people, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like us, you know, I think one of the artists had mentioned and a lot of I think with the exhibition, going back to that thing, I got a lot of the feeling of como ni de aquí ni de allá. And I
Right.
think that was like always my conflict. Like, I don't feel like I can draw like the lowrider stuff or like the Mexican stuff because I wasn't even was important there.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the Americana stuff, I really feel like I couldn't
Right.
like kind of like an imposter. You're like in between, with like which way do I go? You know. So for me, like this art piece was kind of embracing all that, but you also feel like on both sides of the token, you gotta be like not more hardcore, but you gotta like, you know,
You gotta
you
step it
gotta
up.
kind of be more Mexican than the Mexican, more American than
Mm-hmm.
the American, kind of type thing.
Yeah.
But kind of for me, like this art piece, going back to it, just kind of just embracing it all and kind of acceptance and like being proud of it, you know, of
Mm-hmm.
where you come from, your roots. You have the best of both worlds, you know, and yeah, just being a better person at the end of the day. It's about just being good to people, help out if you can. You know, if you have certain knowledge, kind of like we're sharing like artwork knowledge, you know, happy to help you grow,
Mm-hmm.
teach you things if there's something that I can help you with. And other than just be good people and look for seek peace, you know.
No, 100%.
Because we already in our own personal worlds and minds, there's already a bunch of chaos in there. We don't need to add more to other people's chaos. Like I said, if you can help people grow, inspire the young generations to be better, and show them that you know you're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
You can do it too. I
Hmm.
think at the end of the day, that's where I'm at. Like now, yeah,
Would you ever want to host your own workshops to continue to educate and inspire other folks?
yeah, cause yeah, I would love to, and I think that's what I've talked to Emmanuel. I was like, oh, that's what I would like to do, cause
Hmm.
everybody's like, oh, you want to keep working on cars and doing all this other stuff. Like, I kind of wanna. I like teaching. I like helping people.
Okay.
If hopefully in the future I can get my stuff squared away at home where I can give people the opportunity to have a space to work.
Hmm.
Because at least growing up, that's always the issue. You don't have the tools. You don't have the
Yeah.
space to be creative to make things, and it's like, oh, you feel like a prisoner. Like you have all this creativity inside you, and you have nowhere to let it out. So that's something I would love to do. In the future to create a place where I can help people like work on their stuff if they
Hmm.
want to like do welding or woodworking or paint. You can teach them the basic skills and help them through their projects.
Yeah.
Or learn some stuff, or at least have a workspace where they can come and work on their stuff.
Yeah. I think that's
Yeah,
very important to have because again, growing up, for a lot of us, we did not have the space, the resource, or even the guidance
yeah,
to have to do that. And I think that's very, very important to continue to foster that and encourage other folks.
yeah. No, for sure. I feel if you have a passion for something, art, and whichever art form it is, like why would you want to keep it a secret? Wouldn't you want to keep it growing? Get continue the younger generations continue with
Hmm.
that craft.
Yeah.
And that's where my mindset is. If who am I to stop somebody from growing or wanting to learn something.
Yeah.
And I say that because there was times that growing up where there's people like that, like, oh, it's a trade secret. Like, yeah, I understand. You had to go through your stuff to learn certain things, but it's like you truly have a passion for it. Like, why do you want to take that knowledge to your grave? Like,
Right.
teach the younger generations, anybody else that continues. You know?
Hmm. Yeah. Reminds me of what you were saying, how you just went up to that guy at the fair and you're like, how do you do this?
Yeah, and that's kind of my way of paying it forward. Somebody taught me.
Hmm.
Yeah, I learned a lot of stuff by trial and error, through failure and all that. But there was also kind people that were kind enough to teach me some stuff. To
Hmm.
share some knowledge with me. And so you learn. And I just try to be a good person. Just try to do things better. I'm no better than nobody else. I'm just the guy trying to seek peace and
I'm trying
find
to
ways to
live
help
life.
others, trying to live life, dude.
Trying to
And
make it through
now,
this.
yeah. So I
Real.
feel like it's always a competition out there. It's like, nah, man. Like, I have respect for everybody's work, and yeah, inspire each other to be creative and just have peace, man.
Yeah.
Just be nice to people.
Do you feel like it's a little bit hard in the industry um to sort of feel like it's okay to share a lot of these things, or like is it sort of like a people are either down for it or like no, I'm gonna die with this secret.
I think it's probably changing.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't feel like I'm like what do you say? I don't feel like I comment too much on it because there's some really awesome painters out there. My respects to them. Like I said, it's not easy to get to their level, but I don't. I think people are a little more open nowadays to like share stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a few people like you'll go to a car show and they'll be like painter and give an example. I went to a car show and I was like, I asked the dude, like, oh, how do you do this technique? He's like, oh, I can't tell you, secret sauce. I'm like, all right, cool. You're gonna have those few people, but there's a lot of people that are like down to show their knowledge. They're like it's like their passion, but then hay de todo.
Mm-hmm.
Hay de todo, but you can't let those downers get you down, whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
You just got to keep moving. Okay.
exactly.
Well, I'm like, I would love to dive deeper into the one that you have right now at the museum. So, your blurb goes Raza de Oro. As a child, I felt I had no right to draw symbols of American patriotism or Mexican history. It felt like stolen valor. After serving in the military, I gained a sense of pride in being born in the United States. As I grew older, I gained more appreciation and love for my familia's heritage. The lyrics, Yo soy de la raza de oro, Yo soy Mexico Americano by Rumel Lopez Fuentes inspired me to create this piece of art. I created this piece in honor of the growth and embrace of both cultures. It incorporates techniques from a lifetime of practice and a creative expression. It's very beautiful.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that it it's exactly what you have been saying this like throughout this interview of you trying to just mesh everything together of how you have been feeling. How did this how did you come to this image? Like what led you to want to choose these sort of symbols in particular?
Hmm. That's just, like, I didn't want like people like overthinking like what does this guy mean? Like obviously, the Aztec sun
Hmm.
calendar, it's pretty obvious what it is, the
Right.
American eagle, El Corazon. And actually some of the tattoos that I have, Corazon.
Mm.
I have the Aztec calendar on my shoulder. I have some wings,
Mm-hmm.
the American. So it's kind of like a little bit of my tattoos that I have that kind of embrace some kind of like all over.
Mm-hmm.
El Corazon, that's that battle in your heart.
Right.
Uh like split into two and then just finally like embracing both of them. So I actually just realized they're like my tattoos pretty much.
Okay.
Stuff that I have tattooed on myself.
Mm-hmm.
Both worlds. That's who we are. So I kind of get to a point where you kind of, yeah, just embrace it. It's that simple. Just embrace your culture, have respect for every other's culture. You know, because
Okay.
at the end of the day, it's like we're all just humans.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, and
I want to know how did you actually make because that middle part is leather. What is the process of doing that? Like, is it carving away, stamping? Like, do you have to heat up the leather to create the sort of, I don't know, the three dimensionality of
okay,
it?
kind of embossing.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's
I
like
know nothing
first.
about leather,
Oh,
so
okay.
for context.
So just pretty much the leather has to have you dampen it, has to have the proper the moisture content, because
Okay,
if not it won't stamp properly.
okay,
And then you transfer your there's different ways of transferring your image, your artwork on that. And then there's a swivel knife. You outline it, instead of un lapis, you get the swivel knife,
and
cut
then
the whole
like,
outline out, and then the rest of it's just stamp work.
what do you mean by stamp work?
Stamping, there's like beveling tools, like different hand tools to like stamp. You're kind of like a caveman, just kind of stamping at it.
Like a chisel.
Yeah, like a chisel con un
So you're
martillito, just
so
stamping
there's
at it.
no like stamp of un
N-
corazón that you put. It was
No, it's all
you with a hand chisel.
hand carved, hand tooled. And every stamp there's like different textures, different types of little stamps.
That's
And then to
crazy.
raise the corazon, just kind of dampen the back of it, and then just kind of I use una canica, and I kind of
Okay.
roll it little by little, kind of emboss it, raise it up.
Is it all one piece of leather or is
It's
it
all one
multiple?
piece of leather.
Oh my God, this whole time I thought it was like layers of leather. It's one piece of
Yeah,
leather.
it's one piece of leather.
Wow, that's crazy. Oh my God. How long did that take?
Oh my goodness, I was keeping track with it. I'm like, you know what? I just gotta like keep my head down and I don't know. You kind of hit a zone where you just
Okay.
like block everything out. And you're just like
Locked
you're
in.
like locked in, just focused on it. Kind of lose
Okay.
track of time. It's like late midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. You're just like, I don't know. I think once you get in that rhythm, it's kind of hard to. It's hard,
Mm-hmm.
you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I kind of that's where I was with that piece. Just kind of let's get it done. You're like feeling motivated, inspired, and you're like got some good music playing,
Mm-hmm.
cafecito, and you're just getting it done. And it's kind of like I get excited as I get closer to the end because like, oh,
You can see it.
you're like, oh man, 'cause I can't wait to see it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. And then so the middle part is leather, and then the brown strips. What do you call them?
the wood
The
strips,
wood
they're
strips. So
actually
that's
wood.
wood. Okay.
Yeah, you see that on like on guitars. They call it like figure tops,
Okay.
tops of guitars like that. It looks like tiger stripe, quilted maple, curly maple is what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a technique that I learned in the guitar industry.
Okay. Because I think that's so. I this whole time I thought that was also like another paint job that you did. I did not know that was wood. That's
Oh yeah, it's wood.
crazy.
It's just sealed to where it almost looks like a
Uh-huh.
different kind of material.
Interesting. Okay. And then the back panel is all
The
automotive paint.
automotive metal flake. There's actually artwork in the back of those panels.
I remember Emmanuel telling me that, but I don't say that again. Remind me, and for the folks at home who might not be able to see it.
Oh yeah, I hate to waste like panels. It's
Okay.
like, oh, I got like an open canvas, but I understand I'm gonna put the leather piece arriba y no se va a mirar nada, but it's like I gotta do something back there. It's like so I went ahead, I did a little bit of graphic stuff on the back of the panels, on both panels actually.
On both panels.
Yeah.
Okay.
So detrás de the panel where the leather is,
Uh-huh.
it's actually like red candy, and I grounded the aluminum to make it look like rayos. So next time you go, just kind of look behind the
I am gonna go back
look
there.
behind the panels. There's like
Okay.
stuff going on back there too. And then behind the panel, the leather panel, there's like just other simple graphics, like fingerprint graphics on the back that I put really subtle
Hmm.
shadows.
Interesting. And in the back of the actual the the larger panel, you have something else there too.
Yeah,
Wow.
you gotta throw like little hidden stuff. But
Okay.
yeah, if you look behind it, like in between the two panels, there's like some really subtle graphics in there as well.
Okay. I'm gonna have to like peek my head in there next time. Okay. And you said you did that because you don't like wasting panels, right?
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, it's right there, so I gotta do something with that blank space, fill in the blank space.
Hmm. Does it ever bother you or make you upset that nobody will ever get to see that? Or no?
No, sometimes like that's for me. Like now
Okay.
and then Manuel knows,
Okay.
and whoever like the family that they saw me working on it. But I don't know, like it's like for you to know, it's like your secret kind of thing. Not like that, but it's not in a secret per se, like what I did. But it's kind of like
That's about a
keep a
thing.
little bit for you,
Mm-hmm.
Like I know what I did right there, and it kind of made me feel good to, at that moment, get that creativity out, and it's on there.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I like that. Doing something just for yourself and like it's part of the process.
Yeah. And I think that's what it is to me. Art's just something that's been like my therapy, my yeah, kind of keeps you grounded. You know, it's where I find kind of a little bit of peace, mental
Mm-hmm.
peace, and yeah, it's just been my therapy. I
Okay.
think every time I've gone in through like certain like mediums, like the leather work, I was kind of pretty down,
Hmm.
and that's kind of art's always kind of helped me
And get back up.
lift me up, kind of
Mm-hmm.
get back up, get grounded, and kind of block out all the craziness of the world. And yeah, I think that's how I would see art for myself. It's kind of so I kind of find it hard for me to like kind of show it and stuff
Hmm.
because it's always been kind of like for me. I do it for me as yeah, like therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Like my relief, like my go to when I want to get away from the world and
Mm-hmm.
all the chaos in it. Like it's always been art
Yeah.
for me. Like a way to get all that stuff out.
I know. I feel that. For me, I often will say, I'm like, oh, like for me, I make work for myself. Like I don't really make it for anybody else. And it's oftentimes just like almost like a diary.
Yeah,
Like an
exactly. And
entry of like what
you,
I'm doing.
yeah, you'll kind of see it in your artwork too. Like, oh man, this guy's going through some stuff, or like
Yeah.
he's doing all right. You can
Mm-hmm.
kind of see it in the artwork.
No, 100%. Um, and what I was gonna ask is, how does it feel to have uh your work? Cause have you shown anywhere prior to this?
No,
No. Okay, so this
no,
is your first time showing it outside of just like your home of
mm,
like friends and
friends and
family.
family. Yeah,
Okay, how does it feel to go from it being something very intimate and personal between just you and whoever you choose to share it to now anybody who enters this museum can see it?
there was like different emotions. Like I definitely don't feel worthy.
Okay, so you
It's
have the
like, oh
imposter
man,
syndrome.
yeah, somewhat. And but at the same time, it's kind of like cool because the day of the opening day.
Mm-hmm.
My nephews and nieces and my kids were able to be there, and it's like, okay.
Aw.
So they're like, oh, you know what? At least, if my Theo or my dad can do it, like, maybe I can too.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of, in that form, it kind of gives me some release. If it's gonna help other people grow, then why not?
Okay.
If it's gonna inspire other people, and you got this guy that que viene de nada, and through all the struggles and all this self doubt, he's able to have a piece up there. It's like, yo
Mm-hmm.
también puedo, like give hope and inspire others,
Okay.
and antemanos, thank you so much for the opportunity,
Of course.
and for those words of encouragement too. Because Emmanuel and we're a big part, I got to give credit to those people that I can't give credit to myself. It's the people that also that inspire, that push you to be better, that believe in you
Mm-hmm.
when you don't believe in yourself,
Yeah.
you know?
It's a whole a community that
Yeah,
brings you together.
for sure. And always be thankful for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that keeps you humble, stay humble, and yeah, just the way that there's people show up for you and push you and encourage you to do the same for others. Always pay it forward, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Because I'll be lying if I said I've done everything on my own. No. Like you said, it takes a whole community,
Mm-hmm.
um, familia and friends to push you and encourage you.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
To get you to where you are
yeah,
now. Yeah, I'm always like, I did not get here alone, y'all. Like, the reason I'm here is because I have a million and one people helping me get here.
yeah. And then that too, like people like yourself and Emmanuel and all the other artists. It's like, man, that's cool. It motivates you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, that's awesome. You
Yeah.
know, awesome. Shout out to all the artists, man. I was like, wow, it's definitely like some of the artwork is just in awe. It's just awesome, beautiful work, and for me, I think I might be like one of the older artists.
I think so.
Like for me, it's like it's a beautiful thing to see all the younger
Mm-hmm.
generations, younger artists that they're pursuing it at a young age. They're like embracing it and doing it.
I mean, you're also never too old to do art. Like, I think Van Gogh didn't start painting until he was like 35.
All right, cool.
Like, there's a lot of artists who don't start doing work until they're like 30, 40.
All right, so I'm good.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Like I remember when I was in school, there was like even people in my art classes who were probably, I want to say it was probably like 50 or 60. Ya
All right.
estaba más mayor. Like we were talking to our Chicano classes and he'd be like, I was at that protest. And I was like, what the wow, okay. Type of thing. Like and there he was getting his, art degree. So like I really do think that you're never too
Hey
old.
man, I might have to just go scratch that itch and go back to school.
Yeah. Do you know what you would want to go back for?
Yeah, art.
Art? Okay.
Yeah, art. I had started like years ago at Fullerton,
Okay.
but life happens. You know, not that priorities change, but got the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I really value that. Kind of give them a good life. You know, like grew up in a broken home. Things were kind of rough, so you know, just trying to do better for them.
Right. Make it definitely. I mean, I think you can. I mean, like you can always go back. You still have how how many? Do you know how long you were there for?
Ya ni me acuerdo. Ya ni me acuerdo.
Were you like almost done at the program or?
Oh no, no. I
Okay.
was at the beginning, bro.
Okay. Because I'm like, if you were almost done, I don't think those credits ever expire.
No. Oh, cool. A ver que. Sometimes I do want to like just continue, just take a class,
Mm-hmm.
because it's kind of hard for me with the just with the routine and
Yeah.
life. Just kind of like accountability. Sign up for a class once or
Mm-hmm.
twice a week just to continue
Mm-hmm.
doing it. Because it's something like I'm at work and then I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna draw this. I'm gonna work on this. And then by that time you get home, it's like it's over. Se acabó
Yeah.
las energías y la inspiración.
No, for sure. Um. So then, now I'm curious to hear about this. To like, because you were already wanting to do art. Then you already had that idea in mind years ago that you wanted to be an artist, or no?
Yeah,
Okay.
man, we're about to go in a dark hole, brother. It kind of like growing up, I feel like art really wasn't valued.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up in the families that I did, just trabajar,
Right.
el arte es pa huevones, that kind of mentality. So it kind of discourages you,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like yeah, I love to draw, but like, what am I gonna do? Like, how am I gonna take care of
Mm-hmm.
myself or a family with this stuff? And then when you grow up like with that it's not really valued
Mm-hmm.
per se as like hard work, so obviously went into like the hard work thing, but art's always been in there and that soul.
Okay.
It's like that necessity almost. Como una droga almost.
Right.
Like the need to want to
Adictivo.
create, like the need to want to
Hmm.
create, but yeah, I never went into that kind of. No, I don't like blaming things on anything, but it really wasn't encouraged, kind of like
Hmm.
or I mean, how can I explain it? Yeah, just it
Yeah.
wasn't encouraged, and it wasn't seen as something like, oh, que va a ser
Hmm.
licenciado,
Hmm.
abogado, or policía, or something
Right.
like that. It's like quiere ser artista. I was like, what are you gonna do with that?
Right.
How are you gonna eat with that? I was like,
No, I
my
feel you.
chance.
I lied to my parents and said I was going to be an architect.
Yeah, yeah, we grew up listening to that as kids. Like my siblings and cousins or parents would be like, oh, van a ser abogados, licenciados, hasta presidentes. I was like,
Mm.
damn, we fell short. Maybe my kid's dad.
Well, I
But
mean,
it's part of the culture. I mean, it's
yeah,
funny. If you understand,
unfortunately.
you understand. But I understand. We're not all different, bro. It's like
Hmm.
pretty similarities and what would you say in the like Latino Mexican households?
Hmm.
And I get it. They mean well. They just want you to do it better than them.
Right.
And but yeah, you know, it's all art's always been that thing since I was a kid.
Okay.
You know, and then yeah.
No, I definitely like. Um, I don't know. I think if you ever do want to go back, you're never too old to go back. And my number, I guess my one advice, like unsolicited advice with art school is no te dejes que te, like, don't let them knock you down. Like the one thing I will say with art school. Some art programs are very good and very encouraging. Others, como que te quieren like sacar, especially if you aren't, you know, somebody who grew up with a lot of the arts and somebody who grew up in a different culture,
Oh yeah.
you
Either
know.
that or they try to mold you like their way,
Right.
or like they get intimidated.
A lot of intimidation, for
Oh, I'm
sure.
too old to be intimidated and lived through enough,
Yeah.
lost enough people. Like it's like ya ni el diablo me espanta.
Okay. So then you'll be good
So
then.
no, we're
Yeah,
good.
okay. 'Cause that's the only thing I always like tell people is like art school, they can get you down. Like EOS.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. That's kind of what I didn't. When I went to college, I had just come back from the war, bro.
Hmm.
So like my mind was like somewhere else.
Okay, so
And
you
I
were
got
like,
this fucking guy trying to tell me certain things. I was like, nah. I
right.
was like,
I've seen
uh-uh,
worse.
uh-uh. And you're trying to. I'm coming from a place where they want to tell me how to do and how to do it, and then I left there because I didn't want anybody telling me what to do and when to do it. And you're over here trying to tell me how to do my art,
Right.
and then kind of like we're saying, there's no right way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there might be some techniques and steps, but as far as the art itself, it's like, who are you to tell me how to express myself, kind of like
Yeah.
my artwork? And I was like, I would bump heads a little with the instructors,
Yeah,
but
school.
yeah, I understand what you're saying. When like they try to, not everybody, but yeah, I've noticed they trying to kind of go a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like fall in line kind of thing. I
Yeah.
don't think art's not like that. At least to me, it's not.
I also don't think it
And
should
we'll
be that
see it in the
way.
exhibition. Like everybody has
Mm-hmm.
their own view, their own way to express things, and you respect that and you embrace it.
Yeah.
I think it's freaking cool. You know,
That's
I think that's what it's about. Just
mm-hmm.
everybody expressing themselves in their own way. You know, you see se ofenden, pues que se ofendan, que never, whatever.
Keep going.
It is what it is. This is
Mm-hmm.
my piece. This is what I was feeling at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that.
I think that that's definitely one of the most lovely parts of art, especially I think here at the Cheech, which is something that you don't really see very often with a lot of like museums and institutions. Like exactly what you're saying. Like sometimes like the art they choose, it's very like los cogieron porque son todos igual o todos
Yeah,
dicen algo similar. But it's one of the beautiful things about this was like seeing how everybody took the themes of the
yeah,
show and said, "This is how I'm feeling," and did entirely different things, but also like hablaban del mismo. Like they were all still in communication.
yeah. Somewhat tied together.
Hmm.
And then for me, it's like, oh damn, kind of opened my eyes a little bit. Like, oh damn, I hadn't thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's cool.
it's awesome, man. Very beautiful pieces from all the artists.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't feel worthy being up there with all them, but it's definitely an honor. You know, and agradecido con la oportunidad.
I think you do deserve to be there. Um, whatever the fuck is telling you that, just beat that little guy up.
I know.
Because you're already there. Es el primero de muchos. And moving forward, like, how do you see yourself doing art? Like, do you want to continue doing more of these panels where you use the different mediums, or do you want to do, I don't know, like explore anything else that
Yeah,
you were
I'm
interested?
kind of like go with the flow kind of thing. Whatever
Okay.
jumps in my mind, that's what I'm doing. Like right now at the time frame, I'm like really like that stuff, like the ability to be able to incorporate everything, the leather work and
Mm-hmm.
the metal work, the auto body paint, custom paint stuff together, and the woodworking. I think that's where I'm at right now. But there's other stuff I would like to explore, like metal engraving. That's something that
Mm.
I would like to try too.
What is metal engraving?
Um, yeah, pretty much like leather work, but on metal, like a little chisel and do the scroll work and all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a whole bucket list of stuff.
What else is on the bucket list?
Pottery. I like to do pottery again. I dabbled in
Okay.
handcrafting clay work. Oh, when I was going to Fullerton, I never got a chance to do the wheel throwing.
There's a
I
pottery
still want to
studio
do
right
that.
here.
Really,
Yeah.
that will have to try that. I'd like to sign up with the kids and do that, but just try different mediums.
Okay.
You know, it's a, it can be a little complicated, but I don't know. I just try different things. Whatever your soul desires,
Mm-hmm.
just try it.
I'm like, I would love to see. I think it'd be cool to see you do this on a three-dimensional. Because I'm thinking of like the car, but
Yeah, I would like to do sculptures too, dude.
yeah, sculpture is what I was gonna go to. Like, I think that'd be really sick if you were to like weld some sculpture y luego pintarlo, and then even have like leather woven in there somehow.
Yeah, it's an idea. So, primero, once I get that place squared away and get working on some stuff,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just let the ideas flow, the creativity out.
I would love this. I'm like, I told this to Veronica too, who she did the,
Oh, dude, that is freaking cool, man.
yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah,
And like I told her, I was like, if you ever want to do, because she wore for the opening, she wore like did you see it was like a top and it was like a welded
yeah,
metal?
like a shield, like a breastplate.
Yeah, it was like a breastplate, and I thought it was crazy. So I'm like, if you could do like, I don't know, some clothes or armor y luego pintarlo, like that also be crazy.
Oh no, that's endless ideas.
Like a
Hay
hat.
mucho.
Imagine a welded hat, like a
Yeah,
baseball hat. I don't know. I just think there'd be.
so much. It's endless. No, hombre, so much stuff is a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that'd be very, very dope. I'm like, I don't know. Is there something that you want people to take away after they see your work at the museum?
Hmm. There's so much. At least for the piece itself, just I'm pretty sure, I'm not the only one that has grown up like that, with the conflict of ni de aquí ni de allá. Just
Mm-hmm.
to like, hey, like embrace it, Just embrace both cultures or whatnot, quit like that battle within your head, Just learn to embrace who you are and accept yourself
Mm-hmm.
and love yourself, Love yourself for who you are, where you come from, you know. At the end of the day, And if like someone who comes from like nothing with a lot of self doubt and come from viene de nada was able to create something like that, like you can too,
Mm-hmm.
Inspire and hope, always hope for the best and believe in yourself,
Yeah.
you know, and accept to be helped. That's another thing I struggle with, accepting the help from others. It's okay to ask for help, you know, and yeah,
Okay.
just kind of embrace life, enjoy life, and accept every opportunity that comes your way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
no self worthiness, I guess. Yeah.
Do you think that younger you, how would like 14-year-old you feel seeing what you're doing now?
But like not
Hmm.
like 14. Who? Those was rough. A rough
Okay.
teenage.
That was a rough time period. Okay.
We're going through some dark,
Okay.
dark ages. 14 me. I was just trying to survive.
Okay. You were probably look back at this and be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That'll be conversations for another time.
Okay. I'm sorry about that.
No, no, don't apologize.
Okay. Um, what do you hope? I don't know, like that this. Do you hope that your kids also contribute to like the arts as well, or are you just like you guys do whatever your heart desires?
Yeah,
Okay.
just do whatever your heart desires. I'm here to support you. Um, do the best to provide you with what you need so you can pursue your dreams. I'm your cheerleader.
Mhm.
I think as a parent, that's what I can give them. I always tell my kids, I grew up in a world of chaos where you don't have like mental peace, insecurities. If I can't give you anything else, material things, I want to give you peace of mind and peace in your soul and your heart so you can focus and pursue the things that you want to do. And if there's something you want to try, like let me know. If we're able to do it, let's do it.
Mhm.
Like a couple of weeks ago, my son wanted to do archery. I was like, hell yeah, let's
Ooh.
do it, bro. I'm kind of curious myself. You know,
Mhm.
we went, he did it, enjoyed it. I don't know. Later on, if he wants to pursue it, cool. If not, at least he got it out of his mind and that
Mhm.
curiosity, Or my daughter, she wants to start painting shoes. I
Hmm.
was like, hell yeah. All right, design them and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen. I don't want to be that parent like, okay, chingados va a hacer con eso?
Right.
No, like, all right, let's do it. Let's give it a try. You
Yeah.
know, doesn't hurt to try.
It doesn't hurt
We
to
gotta
try.
try to be supportive as much as we can. Yeah.
Oh, I think that's so sweet. You sound like a lovely father.
Sometimes I don't feel like it, but we try. We just try to do a little better
Yeah.
from them, from at least from what I had. I'm not saying that my parents were all bad, but just try to make things a little better.
Mhm.
Nothing, just change comes, takes time, and we're getting there slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for being here. Um, let the people know where they can find you, your Instagram or website, or if you have a shop, anything that you want to plug and shout out.
Well, you could just look me up on Instagram, just Faustino Larios, and that's it.
For sure.
Yeah,
If anybody has any questions about anything, I'm sure they can contact you.
yeah, for sure. Send me a message or whatnot through Instagram, and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, hit them up, get them in your shows. We want to, if you love their work as much as we all do, like, please, as I say, support the artists, put them in your shows. I'm sure you're going to be making much, even more like incredible work moving forward. So they need a place to be. Um, and yeah, go check out the show if it's still up when this video's up at the Cheech for the Digital Skills Group Show. Now until March 16th. And you guys know where to find me. Art Perry, my website, perrypicasso.com, my portfolio, picasso.com. The podcast has a clip, so Red Thoughts, Perry. Um, yeah, and then let us know anything you have below.
Cool,
Ciao.
awesome, peace. Thank you once again, man. I
Of
appreciate you.
course. Thank you for being here.
Awesome, Perry.
See, you did amazing.